Okay, today is an exciting day. Today's project is getting the motor ready to install, which means flywheel, clutch, and transmission bolted up. So we get to do all that. I'm going to be using ARP bolts. And here we have flywheel and clutch kit in here from Frankenstein Motorworks, and this is kind of exciting too. So this I purchased about 1.5 years ago, as it was apparent that they were becoming rare, or at least hard to get. And I bought one of the last ones apparently from that could be ordered. It was shipped from Japan to Toyota dealership in Alabama, actually, and they shipped it to me from there. But a brand new E153, and a couple things that are a bummer. Well, one thing it's a bummer, it does not come with a speedometer sensor. So that has been a bugger, trying to find the correct one, trying to find one at all. So hopefully that solution will come at some point. But all these things are gonna come together today, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, a couple steps of the process here. I did put a drop of medium strength Loctite on the flywheel bolts. By the way, flywheel foot-pounds of torque, incrementally tightening 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 75 pounds for the last one, 75. Also, the clutch is going to be getting 18 foot-pounds. And I don't know, this is just a step I guess I carry over from bike shop world, but whenever metal's on metal, I tend to use some kind of assembly grease or all-purpose grease, but this is just an assembly grease. You want to go light because you don't want it to get drawn in and mix with the Loctite, because then it kind of breaks the Loctite down, so it can't do its job. So, all right, we're gonna bolt this stuff up. Sweet. All right, so transmission is bolted up, and here are a couple notes, a couple things I learned to sum this step up. One, you're gonna find, I found that I don't have hardware for anything. Nothing comes with hardware. So first of all, the clutch kit, I did get the one from Mark at Frankenstein Motorworks. Gonna be super happy with that one. It would be nice if mounting bolts were included with that, or at least a little note as to what size, so just would make that process a little bit easier. Have to research or just trial and error, but I think they're M8 by 125 pitch and 15 mil deep, or maybe 16 mil deep for the clutch. Also, for success in mating the transmission and engine, the engine can't be swaying, especially when you're doing it by yourself. So I had to take the time to get it low, get it stable, and get the transmission lined up and stable in order to slide it in. Also, I had to take the time to make sure the clutch is centered. And one last trick, I cut the end of the centering tool off, and that really did help when centering the clutch. If you use brake parts cleaner to remove the adhesive from the sticker that came on the starter, it also takes off the black paint. I found also that I had to relieve a little bit more material off the bottom and top so that the slave cylinder would fit nicely. So got that done. I think that's all I learned on that one, but it is done. And on to the next project. Oh, another thing, if you end up with a new E153 transmission, Besides the fact that it's not going to have a speed sensor, it's also not going to have the shifter cable bracket, so you'll have to source one of those. Okay, I think that's it. Well, I'm redoing the bolts on the pressure plate. I don't know what I was thinking. I was a little impatient. I've been doing everything else just really the right way, and in the moment of weakness decided to cut a corner and use just bolts that I had, and I kind of eyeballed it and assumed that they'd be fine, but they really aren't the right grade anyway. And so I ordered some ARP pressure plate bolts, and I took the transmission back off to access the pressure plate again to put the correct bolts in. Moral of the story is, do it right the first time, of course, but not, it'll just sort of eat away at you, and it's worth waiting and doing it right. So these are only like $12 or $15 for the set, so it's not even an expense. So putting these on and putting the transmission back together, or put back on the motor, and then going from there with the rest of the steps. Beautiful blue sky, sunshiny day in Tennessee, but it's actually pretty cold. Today's project is pretty simple, installing the spherical bearings for the shift cables on the E153. Just a couple things to note. The kit always comes with some sandpaper because the pins on a car tend to be a little rusty, and so just smooth them over so the spherical bearings slide on easily. However, this E153 is brand new, and they do not fit. So I had to sand these down a little, and now they fit great. So a couple things, that's one of them. Make sure that sand those down nice and smoothly. And then the other thing to keep in mind is the little spacers are different heights. So what we're gonna do is put a little grease on these. And then this bottom one here gets the taller of the spacers. And then the orientation of the spherical bearing is with the lip on top. So that's a great fit there. And then the cotter pin goes through the hole. So those are the two things. Prep the shaft there, prep the pin, and make sure that the higher spaced one goes on the bottom shifter linkage.